Hello, my name is Glenisha Runyon, and I have chose to research the bioethical concerns on abortion, centralizing on its two main perspectives, pro-life versus pro-choice. Furthermore, I examine the argument of fetal rights and the autonomy of women to decide. What is bioethics and its issues? Bioethics is the study of the moral and ethical implications of medical research and practice. Concerns in bioethics surround basic human values such as the right to life and health. These concerns are followed by questions such as what are my obligations or responsibilities toward others? Or what does it mean to be a good doctor, nurse, or scientist? Commonly accepted principles of bioethics include respect for autonomy, non-maleficence, beneficence, and justice. The issue of bioethics combines law, public policy, medicine, science, and religion, with each contributing an insight to a variety of practices and policies that fall under bioethics. It includes issues relating to the beginning and ending of human life. Long-standing arguments on bioethics include genetic research, organ transplantation and donation, environmental concerns, and death and dying. Moral consideration in bioethics often question whether we're required to only prevent harm of others or must we also act in ways that benefit them or make their lives better. Although not politically correct, abortion is a form of planned parenting which allows a woman to take into account her economic circumstance, paternal support, or existing children. Abortion is legal in all U.S. states. This fact has made abortion a controversial political issue, leading to regular attempts to restrict, limit, and regulate it in certain states. Pivotal cases in the history of abortion include Roe v. Wade of 1973, where the U.S. Supreme Court made a landmark decision ruling that the Constitution would protect pregnant women's autonomy to choose to have an abortion during the first 2 trimesters of pregnancy. Another case, Doe v. Bolton of 1973, expanded the access women had to abortion by dismantling laws that restricted reasons women could require an abortion. In the case of abortion, the definition personhood creates conflict in its permissibility. A central concern in deciding the personhood of embryo or fetus are what is the moral status? What are our obligations towards them, and how much do they matter? Moreover, personhood is the quality or condition of being an individual person. This concept is one of the main arguments in the controversial issue of abortion, suggesting that the fetus/embryo has a right to live regardless of the mother's wishes. The status of the fetus/embryo matters at the time of abortion in many states. During the first 7 weeks of pregnancy, the baby is considered an embryo. By the 8th week, the baby has developed into a fetus. In 2019, some states passed the heartbeat bill, which makes abortion illegal as soon as the heartbeat can be detected. Autonomy and abortion. Autonomy is defined as the right or condition of self-government. Furthermore, it's the freedom from external control or influence. In short, it's independence. What lawmakers, religions, and pro-lifers fail to remember is that the right to abort is a personal choice. The U.S. Constitution enacts the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment, which provides a right to privacy. This right to privacy protects a woman's liberty to choose whether or not to have an abortion. In the Hill versus Colorado case of 2000, a Colorado statute made it unlawful for any person within 100 feet of a healthcare facility to give individual leaflets pushing an anti-abortion agenda. This statute further argues that bodily autonomy is a basic human right with a lack of coercion or external influences. Furthermore, autonomy represents a right to bodily integrity and reproductive freedom for women who should have the choice to decide. Below is a quote that puts perspective to a woman's choice to decide. Bioethical concerns of abortion. As mentioned earlier, bioethics concern basic human value. While abortion can be viewed as the autonomous decision of a woman, it can also be perceived as the killing of a fetus, which derives it of a future value. I will further discuss the bioethical concerns of abortion using the 4 principles of bioethics. Respect for autonomy. The right to an abortion plays into the right to privacy, which is protected by the 14th Amendment. A woman's choice to have an abortion should be an uninfluenced decision made at her own discretion. The role of the physician is to safely perform the procedure or refer said individual to someone who can. Non-maleficence. While a physician is not supposed to intentionally inflict pain, one could argue that to abort a fetus or embryo breaks one of the most important rules of bioethics. This argument is used in the debate of fetal rights, which are moral/legal rights of a human fetus under natural and civil law. This term is used to separate a pregnant woman and her fetus, regarding them as independent entities, which they are not. Beneficence. Beneficence requires the physician to fulfill the moral obligation of providing information regarding clinics that provide safe procedures for women wishing to abort. Although the decision to abort might not coincide with their personal beliefs or morals, that must be pushed aside as a healthcare provider. Justice. In other words, fairness, justice in the principles of abortion justifies the right to choose a procedure like this. It's basic human rights to be able to decide what you want to do with your own body. Political powers restrict, limit, and criminalize what individuals can do with their bodies, forcing them to seek healthcare alternatives. Deontologist view. Deontologists believe that actions are good or bad according to a clear set of rules. They hold that some acts are morally obligatory regardless of their consequences for human welfare. A deontologist would say or would argue with the laws. A deontologist would agree with the laws pertaining to abortions by state. For example, as of May 2019, Louisiana state law allows an individual to have an abortion up to 5 months into pregnancy. The only exception to this law is in the case of a medical emergency. Although the flaw of deontology is that not everything has one set of rules. While the state law might allow an abortion up to so many weeks, the religious following one might have could affect their decision to abort. Utilitarian view. Utilitarians believe the purpose of morality is to make life better by increasing the amount of good things and decreasing the amount of bad things in life. A utilitarian would say that abortion is only morally right when the outcome benefits those involved. If an individual were to have a baby they felt they couldn't provide for, there's a chance of bringing a life into this world that would experience pain and unhappiness. In this case, a utilitarian would be in favor of the choice of the mother. Fetal rights and protection. The term fetal rights came into usage during the aforementioned Roe v. Wade case of 1973. The word describes the rights of an unborn human fetus. Fetal protection basically allows a physician to treat the fetus as if it's a separate entity from its mother. This creates competition between the woman and the fetus, further developing a somewhat antagonistic relationship between a woman and her unborn child. According to abortion laws, a fetus does not exist apart from its mother. Therefore, how can it have rights before conception? A central argument around the bioethics of abortion surrounds the case of abortion as a crime versus abortion as morally neutral. The further development of fetal rights would turn abortion into a crime rather than a morally neutral, autonomous decision. Pro-life versus pro-choice. Pro-life conceptualizes that the embryo fetus is in fact a person from day one. A more persuasive argument is the worthiness a fetus has to be saved as a potential person. Their main argument is that there is an existence of human life before birth. Fertilization of the egg forms a new entity within the body, creating a potential person. Pro-choice. Pro-choicers advocate for the idea of autonomy. Pregnant women have the right to decide what happens to the embryo fetus because it is a part of her body. Multiple factors go into the decision of ending a pregnancy, including the guilt in losing a potential life. Their main argument is the restriction and limitations of abortion will only resort to the increase in back alley procedures, which will lead to the death of countless of women.